Hello friends, I am Nadejda with you, and today we will sew a mitten and pot holder in addition to the pot holders that we sewed in the previous video. I have the same scraps that I will use in my sewing. With such a mitten it is convenient to take the pan out of the oven, so I cut out the parts again from an old terry toe. I want these towels to serve me longer. From sewing the pot holders that we sewed in the previous video. I still have such beautiful scraps left and I want to EW such a mitten. It will be such a set for the kitchen, pot holders and mittens, they will decorate my kitchen and it will be convenient for me to cook in the kitchen. We will use the scraps to assemble the outer part of the mitten. Of course, the cut-out parts look very large, but when the mitten is sewn together it will all look much neater. I'll start sewing scraps into the center. I'll take this element. I apply face to face. All the fabrics I have are cotton, pure cotton. After stitching along the line, smooth it out with your fingers so that the line is even. And so by applying piece by piece we create a new canvas. We will cut off everything that is unnecessary and after stitching this fabric we will iron it with an iron. Having placed the stitched fabric on top of the terry towel parts, we begin stitching. The stitching will be back and forth. After stitching, this is the first part of our mitten. The inside of the mitten will remain terry, the same as the towel was. It will be pleasant for your hand to plunge into the mitten. Now we will trim off everything that is unnecessary and move on with our sewing. After I cut off all the excess from the part, this is the part 1 got. And now we move on to making the next part, which will be made from 4 layers of terry towel. When the mitten is sewn with this part, we will take hot baking sheets. That is, when finished, it will be located on the palm and finger. I will cover this part with a whole piece of fabric, not assembled from pieces, but with a solid piece and stitch it off. Once again I'm showing you how the 2 pieces turned out. Here's one second one of the pieces. Here's a 4-layer one. For which we'll take baking sheets and start making the 3rd piece of the mitten. And showing you the 3rd piece I prepared. It is made from 2 layers of terry towel. And we will also customize facing fabric on it. You can customize it in any shape, parallel stitches, diamond-shaped stitches, zigzag stitches. You can also customize it with a labyrinth, and so on and so forth as you like. I stitch on the wrong side because I can clearly see the boundaries of this part. So friends, the detail has been stitched off and now I'll cut off all the excess. I'm sewing a pot mitten for the first time. I'm not a professional and I'm creating it together with Yo. I hope everything works out for me. Here is the third detail. Well, friends, I connected two parts of our mitten. In the inside of the mitten, I decided to make blue valances so that the pink fabric would not peek out when I used THI's mitten. Now we have two parts of the mitten, one part with a finger and the second one is flat. We need to connect these two parts. RTS of course. At the moment the mitten looks huge, but when it is sewn together it will look good. I connected these two parts with two lines so that the mitten would be strong, and I will make notches along the rounded part of the mitten so that it turns out well. I trim the edges at the entrance to the mitten. So, friends, I turned the mitten right side out and we have such a beautiful mitten. On the rounded part, as I said, I made cuts with scissors on the wrong side without reaching the line and the mitten too. RNED out well. And we still have the edge of the entrance to the mitten unfinished. I will process it with blue try. This is the same binding that I used to process the edge of the potholders in the previous video. And here is our finished mitten. It's quite neat and sits nicely on the hand. It turned out wonderful. I'm showing you what kind of mitten what valances are from the inside and how they look, but I think that these seams will need to be manually attached to the inside of the mitten with a frequent stitch. I want these seams to be flat and the mitten to be comfortable to put on your hand. Here is a new kitchen set made from oven mitts and oven mitts. I think that I will be pleased to use them in the kitchen. And with this I will finish my video. If you liked it, write comments, subscribe to my channel, repost my videos. And I was with you, Nadezhda. See you again. Bye bye.